for the fofo. This for the fofo. For the city and the back roads. Got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the fofo. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah. So let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva. Them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the fofo chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really bout it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And Connie got flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday here on this May 9th edition of the 440 Sports Show. My name is Sam Torres. Thanks for joining Ashtabula's only morning sports talk show. As we're going to get into some scores. It looks like some tournament play starts yesterday on the softball side. Some teams getting their first game in yesterday. A couple teams getting their first games going this week. So it should be a pretty exciting time right now for the area baseball and softball teams. I know that the seeds came out yesterday. We talked about that on the show. Got a chance to cover the Edgewood Warriors versus Berkshire Badgers game yesterday, and what a game that ended up being. Very much a pitcher's duel, with both pitchers getting over 10 strikeouts, and the young man from Badger getting, I think he ended the day with 16 strikeouts in that game. It was really a defensive battle throughout that one. That first run that Badger scores right there in the beginning of the game actually is the one that ends up winning the game. That also puts to bed Edgewood's hopes of becoming back-to-back CVC Valley Division champions, as Badger keeps their hopes alive. Now, they will play that game again tonight at Badger. I believe Edgewood can actually spoil the chances for Badger to get a CVC championship by winning tonight. Now, if Badger wins, they will take on Kirtland, and then that game will actually decide who's going to win, as Kirtland right now is sitting with only one loss in the CVC for that game, right, or for that division. It's hard to believe that we are already in, tournament time. Tournament time set to start for baseball next week as well. This baseball season has really kind of flown right by. It's been a pretty crazy season. Let's double check and make sure I got some sound. All right, and we do. Yeah, we're going to jump right in this morning. We're going to jump right into the scores. So let me bring that up here. And as always, our score is brought to you by ysnlive.com. So, you come here, you check out, look at all the stories and all the great stuff going on right here. There's, most of the games that get covered are going to get a story to tell behind them. Pretty good stuff going on right here on the scoreboard, or on the YSN scoreboard. Also want to remind you guys to head over to this tab right here on the Big Dogs of the Valley. Once those Big Dogs of the Valley are posted, you see how many voters, for each one of these. Baseball actually getting outdone by softball by, quite a bit, almost 6-1. You get there, you get an athlete you want to vote for, you can vote for that athlete multiple times. So, as Anthony says, get out there and vote until your thumbs fall off. But let's jump into some of these scores as we go over to the score tab. All right, Monday, May 8th, starting off with the Edgewood Berkshire game, which is the game I got a chance to cover. Like I said, this one ends up being a pitcher's duel. Both pitchers with a bunch of strikeouts. Both pitchers throwing a complete game in this as well. The Berkshire pitcher, Jack Jacobs, I believe is his name, goes out there, and really pitches a gem. 16 strikeouts, very few walks. It was a not something that people who like to see a lot of offense. That type of game, no, it was very much a defensive battle, and both pitchers throwing complete games all the way to the end, and it was a tough loss for the Edgewood Warriors as they were looking to go back-to-back CVC division champions last year, and that is off the table now, but Berkshire remains alive in that one. Another baseball score here, and I think this is one that people, not necessarily an upset, but I think most people would have thought that Fitch is going to come out on top on this one, and absolutely not. The Fighting Irish fight for their win right here. It's 11-1. Ursuline over Fitch, right here in time for tournament time, and I know Ursuline is set to play the winner of the Geneva and Harvey matchup. I don't drop in as often as I should, but this is an awesome podcast, bro. Keep it up. Good. Keep up the good, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Damien, a ton, an absolute ton. But yeah, so Ursuline's set to take up the winner of the matchup between Geneva and Harvey. So that's going to be a very interesting game as Ursuline and Geneva, if that ends up being the matchup. Ursuline is one of Geneva's few losses this year. So that'll be a pretty interesting game right there. You got Columbiana going 15-5 over Lisbon. Columbiana back on the upswing here. Louisville gets a big win over Marlington as Louisville goes 9-4 there. Louisville starting to sharpen up their claws before tournament time here. West Branch falls to Salem here 7-5. That's a pretty big win right there for Salem, as West Branch is a 15 or 16 win team this year, and Salem pretty good in their own right with their Division I commit at pitching. LeBray goes 12-1, right back on the horse for the Vikings as they get a big win here over Campbell Memorial. Grand Valley 4-1 win over Cardinal. And Cardinal was one of the best pitchers in the division as well, in Jake Bean, the Kent State commit. So Grand Valley coming off of a very tough weekend against St. John and able to kind of shake off that dust and go out and get a win there against a very good opponent in Cardinal. That's a pretty big win right there for the Mustangs. Crestview goes 4-2 over Newton Falls. Garrettsville, Garfield, and Liberty not reported. You got Edison going 12-0 over Heartland Christian, and Heartland Christian a big win for the Edison Wildcats. Heartland Christian with 9 wins on the day. And when I talk about 9 wins and I talk about big game, of course I'm speaking of the power rankings, the Power 20 that we do on here. So the power rankings, for those of you who have been, not really watching closely, YSN schools are all 70 of them. All 70 of the YSN schools are put into an algorithm. We compare their stats against each other, and from those stats, the computer spits out the top 20 Your Sports Network teams. This is the top 20 teams that are on YSN. Now, I completely understand why people have asked about, different teams. Why is this team not being ranked? Why is this team not in the rankings? Those teams aren't included in the rankings for a couple different reasons. First of all, they're not part of the YSN umbrella. Although we'd love to get you in there. If you have a team, or you're a player, or you're a coach, or you're a parent, or if you're a school that wants to be included in this YSN coverage, it's as simple as a phone call, an email, a reach out, a Facebook message, an IG, a DM on IG, anything you can do to get the contact started. We are always looking to grow and include teams into this YSN coverage for free. This is an absolutely 100% free service that is provided to these schools. Things like the power rankings, the combine, the volleyball previews, the YSN All-Star game, all of those things are just some of the perks of being under that YSN umbrella. Once we start broadcasting your games, and that sort of thing, you're going to be included in these things. So again, the Power 20 includes the YSN teams. It's the same reason, the Big Ten Network doesn't put Alabama in their rankings. It's about the teams you're covering, and with such a large amount of teams under the YSN umbrella, you're talking almost 70 here. A Power 20, a power ranking is pretty close to real. Now, I understand that there's going to be some teams that should be ranked higher than others, and maybe that aren't under the YSN umbrella that maybe deserve to be there. And again, that is as easy as a phone call. Let's get you signed up with YSN so we can start providing you the coverage, not just for myself, but the excellent people that are doing it right here at YSN. So, we've had some questions as to a couple teams that aren't involved and that sort of thing. The best way to kind of fix that, let's get you signed up here with YSN. We'll get you covered and, give you with the same gusto that we cover everybody. And that's one of the things I pride myself on. And I think YSN prides themselves on as well, is the fact that, every team is our home team when it comes to that. So, every team gets a fair shot on this one. Moving on to some of the other scores here, Lakeview gets a 12-0 win over Boardman, which is a huge win for Lakeview, as Boardman, a Division I team there, and Lakeview continuing their winning ways, really looking to get that NE8 championship locked in. McDonald goes 12-0 over Western Reserve. Hoban with a huge win over Medina. So Hoban out here collecting those points for the power rankings every time they get a big dub over a Division I team. South Range goes 9-0 over Girard as they keep their NE8 hopes alive. Mineral Ridge going to fall to Lowellville here, 2-8. Heading over here to the softball side of things, and some of these games, as we start going through these scores, some of these games are actually tournament games. So I'll do my best to make sure that those are, if it's a tournament game, that I indicate as such. All right, you got South Range at Girard. South Range goes 2-0 over Girard there. Another NE8 matchup there. Hubbard and Struthers, it's all Hubbard in this one, 12-0. Mineral Ridge goes 5-3 over Waterloo. McDonald goes 24-2 over Bloomfield. Kudos to Sam Torres, YSN Asheville champion, no question about it. I appreciate you, DJ. That's the main man right there himself, DJ Yoakley. And I appreciate everything you do too, brother. Bloomfield and McDonald, I believe that was also a home tournament game there, as McDonald starting their tournament off the right way. St. John goes 18-7 over Warren JFK. This game, absolutely incredible. 18 strikeouts for the starting pitcher there, the freshman phenom in Izzy Holler. And usually that would be enough to be player of the game, you would think. But, oh, yeah, they have another young lady by the name of Brittany Cole, a senior softball player, who goes out there and hits for the cycle in this game. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. This being a tournament game as St. John continues their journey into this OHSAA tournament. You got Edison going 16-0 over Coshocton. Lisbon is going to fall to East Canton 7-5. Lakeside softball getting a big win here over Brush, 17-11, as the Dragons softball team getting a huge win over Brush. I believe that was a tournament game as well. Southern Local goes 15-1 over Latonia. Newton Falls goes 4-2 over East Palestine. You got Sandy Valley and Beaver Local meeting up here, 9-2, the final there. Lowellville goes 11-8 over Sebring, and you've got Louisville going 4-5 over Solon. Wellsville, Maplewood's going to come out on top on this one, 13-7. and Wyndham falling to Cardinal 11-4. Canfield and Boardman, the final of that one, 5-0. So a lot of great games, big time games in this one on Monday as we prepare for a pretty big Tuesday as well, including at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Myself, I'm going to get out there and cover the St. John Heralds as they take on Vienna Matthews, with this game going to decide who's going to win the NAC Conference Championship this year. So huge game here for the on the network. You know, we cover championship sports right here on YSN. That's what we do. Let's take a peek over here again, right on YSN, one-stop shop. That's where you're going to find all the information you need as we're going to head over to the standings page. You have Canfield sitting on the top right now on the baseball side, 7-0, a perfect 7-0 as they have locked in that AAC championship, 12-3 overall. Austintown Fitch with 4-2 and an 11-8 overall there. You know, very, very close there at the top in the AAC. And in this one, you know, it's the game that will never end between Austintown, Fitch, and Canfield, as that one is truly going to decide who is going to win this this conference. 15-1 Canfield, 15-0 Fitch, and the one that you see over there is because the game that they have played that they had to stop in the 10th because there was no light. That game still waiting to get finished, and I'm really interested to see kind of how this is going to go with that additional kind of extra step of tournament play going in here, because both of those teams are teams that I can see going very far into the tournament. So it's going to be interesting to see when are they going to be able to get that conference championship game in there, because the conference championship is something that matters to both of these teams. Moving over here, you're going to go Buckeye 8 and Indian Creek on the top here, 5-3 in the conference, 16-7 overall record there, with Edison right behind them with a 4-3 record and a 13-7 overall record. Over here on the softball side, Indian Creek on top, Edison in the second place. It's the same deal for the softball side. Looks very, very similar. Over here in the Eastern Buckeye, it's Alliance on the top there. 15-3 is their overall record. And Carrollton, 7-3 in the conference, 18-3 overall record. Those are the ones that are interesting to me, is, you know, when one team has a better record than the other, but has taken another conference loss, how that can actually affect you in the conference seedings. Marlington goes 8-0 on the softball side, 20-1 overall. They were the lone team that knocks out YSN from getting all number one seeds in the softball tournament this year, as they get the nod for the number one seed over Canfield, who gets number two. Canfield, obviously a phenomenal softball team. Carrollton's 5-1 and 13-8 overall, as we're going to head over here to the EOAC. And the EOAC here we go. You got Columbiana as a 9-0 in the conference and 13-9. And, you know, I believe, and if I am wrong, it would not be the first time, but Columbiana, if I'm not mistaken, may have locked in that EOAC conference championship, as I don't know that there's enough games left in the season for anybody to catch up. But if I'm wrong, then that's the way it is. I know that they beat United on their last game. So United 7-3 and 10-9 overall as we head over to this softball side of things. And guess what? It's the same story. The same story with a different place. Columbiana's on the top here, 10-0 overall in the conference. You got 17-2 overall. United right behind them with an 8-2 record and 12-4 as their overall record. Columbiana and United both really showing out this week. And not really just this week either. Over the entire year, both of those programs have been so incredibly impressive. You know, and if you haven't had a chance to get to watch any of these games, and this is one of the greatest things about having YSN, you know, as a part of your school and under your coverage, you can go back and you can check out all of these schools, as they've all got archive footage ready to go. So you want to take a look and see what this team looks like. You know, man, those girls from Champion are incredible. I wonder what they look like in real life. Head over to YSN Live, go to the Champion tab. You're going to find softball, you're going to find baseball, anything that they're competing in. It's going to be right here. It's really it's a great resource for those of you who guys want to those of you who want to make use of it. It really, there's a lot going on right here on the website. Baseball, MBAC in the gray division. You got Crestview at 9-2, LeBray at 9-2. It's a lock at the top. 12-4 overall, 17-3 overall, and the MVAC has shown to be so incredibly impressive this year. Both Crestview and LeBray at one time #1 in our power rankings because of their ability to not only get wins, but get wins over teams that get wins. Champion 12-0 on the softball side, and you know, it's a phenomenal program over there. It really is. I've gotten the privilege of getting acquainted to it this year through the Diamond Roundup show on Sunday nights, and you know, you look at a young lady like Gabby Gradishar, you know, who's got every bit of, you know, college bound skills set on her, and Champion has really made it a very an impressive run this year. That's another team I think you can look forward to just kind of tagging along right along in the tournament. Brookfield right behind them in the conference, 11-2 with a 16-3 overall. And that's the thing over here in the MVAC. You look at the records, and you know, it's pretty. There's a lot of wins here in this conference. And then you head down to the Scarlet side of things, and it's Jackson Milton on the top on baseball. 10-2 overall record, 15-5, with McDonald right behind them at 9-2, 14-4 overall. And this is one of those things where it may come down to just who got a chance to play more games. You know what I mean? That may come down to it, because you know, these conference games, I've got to think I don't know if they even can get bumped, but man, they're going to start getting pushed down the road as some of these teams are really going to make a run in the tournament. McDonald goes 12-1 in softball and 14-2. And you talk about a young lady like Bella O'Brien there, who has gone out and, you know, showed up against a very, very good Western Reserve team, able to get a win there in the highest amount of pressure possible, as you lose there and you lose your conference championship. And right before the tournament time, and I mean right before, as they're starting tournament time right now, what a great test that is. And for Western Reserve on that side of the coin, you know, they get to go against a big time pitcher, and they get to see, you know, with the loss, you got to take something from it. Everybody, if you don't learn something from a loss, then the loss is worthless. So take something from every single loss, and they've got to go against a high-end talent with high-end skills. And, you know, they can look and figure out, all right, well, we didn't do this right, but we did do this right. This is what we have to improve on. Western Reserve, still a very, very good softball team. All right, heading over here into the NAC. And as this one, we're going to talk about this one here. Matthews 6-0, undefeated in their conference, or in their division, 12-2 overall. Maplewood 3-3, 4-6 overall there. But here's where it gets interesting. So the NAC cross-play counts towards your division, counts towards your conference play. So while St. John and Matthews are not in the same division, this game will very much count toward your conference play. So that's why, you know, if St. John can get this win tonight, they are in the driver's seat to win a conference championship. And what a way to announce yourself into the NAC. For those of you who don't know, St. John just becoming members of the NAC conference this year. Already going in there and winning a volleyball championship, and now they're on the track to try and win a baseball championship in the conference that they just started. So what a way to kind of announce yourself in there. As St. John's sitting 4-0, tied with Bristol at 4-0, who has an overall record of 8-8, and that St. John record, there's a couple of games that have to get added in there, as they are now 11-4 on the year. Over on the softball side of things, it's Lakers time to shine. The PV Lakers, those young ladies have gotten the job done. A perfect 10-0 in the conference, 14-4 overall, and they lock in an NAC championship. Ready to go. Like, just an impressive year for the young ladies out there. Sage Payne, Bailey Alderman, Mandy Herman. I mean, the names go on and on and on. PV Lakers softball this year has really just done a phenomenal job. Shout out to those Lakers. Right behind them, Matthews with a 5-2 record, also 10-4 overall. Over on the softball side, Chalker's 9-1 with a 12-3 overall record. Chalker has been very good. Lordstown 4-5, 5-6 overall. And I'm gonna go jump down here to St. John only because St. John goes 1-4 in the conference, 2-6 overall. Chalker and St. John, the table is set as St. John goes out and gets the win against Warren JFK in that first round of the tournament. And for all of their efforts, they're going to get to go against a very good Chalker Wildcats team. So that should be an interesting game right there. Over here in the NE8, it's Lakeview 11-2. 15-2 overall. South Range 8-3, 15-4 overall. South Range 12-0, 19-3 overall, with Jefferson 8-4 in the conference, 15-4 overall. So Jefferson cannot catch South Range, but I want to talk to you guys about how impressive it is for the Jefferson Falcons softball team to start where they did, where they start off with 3 or 4 consistent loss or consecutive losses, all within the conference, and able to literally knock the dust off, get up, work harder, swing the bats, 12, 13 home runs, something in that area, 7 different girls hitting them. One of the biggest offensive teams out here in this area, one of the biggest offensive teams on YSN, if you compare home run to home run. For them to be able to finish the way that they did, I think is nothing short of impressive. Shout out to those Lady Falcons. What a year it's been for you guys. And as they go into the tournament, I truly believe, and I know this sounds real Sammy Homerish, I know that this sounds real, I tend to try and push some of these Ashton Beulah teams further than other people will. I'm telling you, I think Jefferson, the softball team out in Jefferson, is a tough pull, whoever is going to get them. It's really, I believe that the table is set for them to play Ursuline. You want to talk about a big matchup? Like, that's really great. That's really going to be a great game. Let's head over here to the Portage Trail side of things, where Warren JFK baseball on the top spot, 7-1, tied up with Lake Center, 12-4 overall, 15-3 overall for Lake Center. And this is an interesting one here because if they do not do ties, I believe Lake Center actually gets the nod, because I think that one loss for JFK is in the conference is from Lake Center. So interesting goings on there on the Portage Trail. Rootstown, you got 7-0 Rootstown on the top there, 13-4 overall, and Mogador 4-1 in the conference, 14-3 overall. As we go over to the Steel Valley Conference, it's the Ursuline Fighting Irish and Cardinal Mooney on top there. So 3-0 for Ursuline, 1-1 for Cardinal Mooney, 10-7 overall for Cardinal Mooney, and 6-10 for Cardinal Mooney. Over on the softball side of things, it's Cardinal Mooney 2-0 and 5-2 overall, and East 3-1, 5-7 overall. Those are the standings as far as I can see right now. All right, with that, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the games that are coming up tonight. This is the time of the show where I remind you, everybody, that the 440 Sports Show is brought to you by Nobody Yet. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking for advertisements. We'd love to get your business out here on the network. With almost 70 schools, you can get your business or your product out in front of well over 70 demographics, all the way down from Akron to Lake Erie. Everybody in between, there's a lot of eyeballs that are going to be able to see your product, your business. And not to be overlooked is the fact that you are helping kids, because we take all of the money that we get from advertising and sponsorship, and that's what helps kind of fuel the bus and gets the wheels turning. That's why we can do broadcasts like this show, Running Point, Power Hour. That's why we do the events like the YSN All-Star Game, the Combine, the preview. All those things are fueled from help of businesses and local people like you. So if you know somebody who has a business or product, or you have a business or product that you would like to get better known and would love to help kids while doing it, contact us. Any of these social medias down here, you can go to ysnlive.com. You go over to the advertising tab. Everything you need to know is going to be right there. We can find a package that works for you. We'd love to get you involved right here on YSN Live so you can help us help them, and we can help them together. With that, we're going to go to our first break, and that is going to be our friends over at Toyota of Warren. We'll see you soon.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Shopping for a vehicle online should be easy and worry-free. Introducing Merge from Greenwood Chevrolet, a completely new way to buy a car that combines the convenience of shopping online with the personal touch and expertise that Greenwood is known for. With Merge, shopping is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Choose a vehicle from our pre-owned inventory, build a deal that fits your needs, and finalize the deal with our online buying team. That's car buying in a new lane. Visit greenwoodchevrolet.com and let us go the extra mile for you.
All right, that's going to do it for that part of the show. A quick break this time as we talk about our friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet and over at Toyota of Warren. Shout out to both of those places for jumping in and answering the call. It's awesome. They've been a staple on here, and I really think that great group of guys over there. Let's talk about some of the games tonight as on the network. I want to get something explained out here so we will not have playoff games on the network this year. And I'm going to tell you why. The explanation really makes sense if you think about it. So the OHSAA imposes a charge when it comes to playoff games, playoff baseball, playoff softball. It doesn't matter if playoffs is attached to it. There's a charge on the broadcast. One of the things we do to kind of deal with that charge is we offer a pay-per-view pass. So with games, with sports like basketball, with sports like football, that pass, that $10 pass that you would buy to watch the game is going to grant you a huge value. And the huge value comes in that you can watch everything that's on the network that day. Everything you could want to watch, it's right there on the network. You're going to get, $10. You can watch sometimes 9-10 games for that. It's like $1 a game. With baseball, that's not the case. So with baseball, you're going to get like 1 or 2 games. Some of those games are not going to go the full 7. As you know, anything is possible, and that's 100% accurate. But a lot of times when a high seed is playing a low seed, they're seeded for a reason, and sometimes you get some run rules and games that don't end early, and it doesn't provide you enough of a benefit. It doesn't provide you guys enough of a value, really, is what it comes down for us to go out there, put the $10 pay-per-view charge on there on these games, and unfortunately, the price doesn't change from basketball to baseball. It doesn't change from football to baseball. It's all kind of the same thing. So very, very difficult to kind of get that up on the air without, sacrificing you guys. And ultimately what we don't want to do is sacrifice you guys at all. We want to make sure the purpose of this is to bring you guys sports at a great value. And during the year, that's why none of the regular season games are charged for. We go free during the regular year. We don't charge you until we get charged. And I think that's one of the greatest things about this is it's fan oriented, it's family based, it's something that where your value is taken into account. So I just wanted to let you know that's why we won't have any of the playoff games on right now. As those things change, that is, everything with YSN, everything is fluid. Things change. The dynamic can change if certain criteria meets, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. We may jump into it at that point, but for right now, no playoffs for softball or baseball at this sectional level. We'll reevaluate once these games start to progress, and we could start to provide better value is really what it comes down to. All right, so tonight on the network, though, still a lot of stuff going on. As we're going to go Cheney versus Cardinal Mooney over at Scene Park. Alec Caberna going to be on the call there. Hubbard at Struthers in Scene 3. Lowellville at Mineral Ridge. Matt Morrison on the call there. St. John hosting Matthews at 5 o'clock. I will be on the call for that one. Alliance at Austintown Fitch with Tim Corso on the call there. Boardman at Howland with Noah Ricks on the call. On the softball side of things, you've got Triway at Archbishop Hoban. And that's Ty Bartella on the call. And this is going to be a huge game, one you are not going to want to miss. Big time game going on right there. Two huge programs. One of the best pitchers in the country for Triway, as this is a junior, if I remember correctly from our show, The Diamond Roundup on Sunday. Junior commit to Virginia Tech already, to Georgia Tech already. Very, very high-level softball going on there. Not to be overlooked and overshadowed, Western Reserve going to be at McDonald. Anthony Hartwig going to be on the call there. That's going to be a big one there as, Western Reserve trying to get some revenge there and lay a stamp down. Also going on today, not going to be covered, though. Cheney's taking on Southern at Southern Local. Girard at South Range. That's a 5 o'clock start. Heartland Christian taking on Latonia. Jefferson going to be at Conneaut, LeBray at Campbell Memorial, Liberty at Garrettsville Garfield, Minerva at Edison. You got Newton Falls at Crestview, Poland at Niles, Southern Local at Heartland Christian in that doubleheader. I think. No. Yeah, it is we'll have to double check that one. It looks like Heartland Christian is supposed to play 2 games at 5 o'clock. Western Reserve at McDonald at 5 o'clock and Rootstown at Warren JFK. That is what is on the network. The playoff games that are going to be going on tonight, you got Cheney at Ursuline. That one going to be played at YSU. Niles at Howland. Kenston at West Branch. Crestwood at Edgewood. Conneaut at Harvey. Salem at Perry. Youngstown East at Hubbard. Struthers at Girard Berkshire. At Campbell Memorial. Grand Valley at United. Southeast at LeBray. Cardinal Mooney at Crestview. And Liberty at Pima Tuning Valley. So best of luck to all the young ladies taking on their tournament games tonight. That is going to do it for today's show. Tonight we'll see you over on Smith Field. And boy, we had fireworks there the last time we were there. So I'm really, really interested to see kind of how that goes tonight. I'm sure it should be a good game. I know both teams, put it this way, both teams are chomping at the bit for this game. Matthews gets knocked out of the tournament last year by St. John. And that is billboard material if it's ever existed. So my name is Sam Torres. Thanks so much for joining the show today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
This for the football. This for the football. For the city and the back roads. Got a whole county full of them goats. All from the football. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah. So let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva. Them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Pomatunin Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really bout it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And kinda I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the football. This for the football.